Hello, Chad Denson, David OSCPA here today to talk to you about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, specifically Social Security. So I know that you're hearing all over the place that Social Security is now exempt from federal income tax. And I'm here today to dispel that myth and give you the tools to pass that on to your people. What did change, however, is that there's a new deduction for seniors age 65 and older that was introduced. $6,000 deduction, but it is not tied to your Social Security benefits in any way. I know that everybody received this email from the Social Security Administration July 3rd of 2025 that nearly 90% of beneficiaries will no longer pay federal income taxes. Under TCJA, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2018, 64% of Social Security recipients were not paying taxes on their federal benefits, their Social Security benefits. We're going to assume that it's about 85%, and that would be nearly 90%. So an additional 20-some percent of Social Security recipients will not be paying taxes on their Social Security. But again, it's not related to the Social Security. It is not an exemption on the Social Security benefits. What happens is the $31,500 standard deduction for joint filers for 2025, coupled with a $6,000 per person additional senior deduction, will have most of their taxable income wiped out if they are a middle income taxpayer. If they are a lower income taxpayer, that $31,500 deduction plus the $12,000 senior deduction will wipe out all of their taxable income, so they won't pay any federal tax. That's really how this big beautiful bill affects taxable Social Security. Taxpayers with modified adjusted gross income over $75,000 single or $150,000 joint still going to be paying tax on Social Security and will receive a phase out of the $6,000 deduction. To hit some key details on this new legislation, this new deduction, the deduction applies for 4 years, 25, 26, 27, 28, and it expires in 2029. Again, you have to be 65 years old by the end of the year to claim it, or older. So if you are 64 coming into 2025, but you have a December birthday and you turn 65 in December, you will be eligible to claim the full $6,000 deduction provided you meet the income filing thresholds. You're eligible for the $6,000 senior deduction even if you're not receiving your Social Security benefits. How does that work? Well, let's say that I am 65 years old, 66 years old, and I'm still working because I'm enjoying my career and I'm under the threshold, the income threshold. But I don't want to have to repay my Social Security benefits because I'm not 67 years old yet, and I don't want to have to repay those, so I haven't started taking my Social Security. I'm still able to take the $6,000 per person senior deduction, not tied to Social Security. If I am married, I'm required to file a joint return in addition to receive that deduction. So it does have some caveats. As a case study, I put together what might be a scenario for a couple that is married in Southern Arizona, maybe someone who has military retirement that retired from Fort Huachuca or the Air Force, $45,000 federal retirement. Maybe the spouse worked for TUSD or Sierra Vista School District, might have Arizona State Retirement System pension of about $45,000 or vice versa. We might have TSP distributions, 401k, IRA distributions of about $5,500 per year, maybe $2,500 in dividends. Maybe we have a CD that's generating $500 in interest a year. We might have Social Security benefits from a taxpayer of $33,000 gross. Social Security for the spouse, we might have $27,000. So what hasn't changed is what flows through from the gross income line to the taxable income line. And in this scenario, because our income is higher because we have a bunch of additional income. 85% of both the taxpayer and the spouse's Social Security is taxable as income on the tax return. It gets added into the adjusted gross income to come to $149,500, which is under the phase-out limit, so we're entitled to the full $6,000 deduction because per person. But because the taxpayer in the scenario is 67 and the spouse is 63, the taxpayer is eligible for the deduction. The spouse is not. So instead of the full $12,000 deduction, we're entitled to $6,000 of the deduction. So in conclusion, I want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. There is no exemption for your benefits, despite what you're hearing from your neighbor, from Uncle Joe, from social media. There is no exemption. There is an additional $6,000 per person standard deduction for 4 years if you're over 65 and under the income threshold. The deduction is age-based. Not everybody qualifies. The deduction is temporary, right? 4 years. Please make sure that you're taking tax advice from your tax professional and not social media. We are accepting consultations at this point. If you want to see how this specifically affects your income tax return, our website is TucsonCPA.com. You can reach us at 790-2738. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this was useful for you. If not, please reach out with any questions. Chad Denson, David OSCPA. Thanks. Bye-bye.